Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the No DQ live recap of Monday Night Raw for November the 2nd, 2020, one day before Election Day. But we got some wrestling to talk about. Shout out to everybody in the chat room watching this live. I appreciate your viewership and support. And thank you to everybody watching this on demand. Let's go ahead and get started. We had a recap of last week's show. We had the Raw intro, and it was announced that they are in the award-winning Thunderdome. Yes, the Thunderdome did win an award for virtual experience. We also found out through that video showcasing the Thunderdome that several people and brands have been banned from the Thunderdome, including AEW's logo, New Japan's logo, several wrestlers like Ryback, Chris Benoit, the Young Bucks, and so on. But anyways, we had the WWE champion, Randy Orton, coming to the ring. He talked about how he has proven he's the best of the best. He is the best, period. He said he's no longer a legend killer, but rather he is just strictly a legend. Hab Connor with a $2 super chat, first one of the evening, says, you get $2 each week Lana goes through a table. I guess that means I'll be getting a lot of money here if Lana keeps going through tables like she has been. Did she go through one this week, though? You guys will have to wait and find out as I go through this recap. We had Randy Orton basically dare anybody to come to the ring and try and take his title. This led to Alexa Bliss coming out, and she had her regular entrance music. I'm not sure if the music we heard last week was just for her character when she's gone off into the deep end, or maybe somebody had second thoughts. Who knows? She had two different gloves. One said play, the other said pain. She held up the pain glove. The lights turned red, but the Fiend did not show up. Instead, we had Drew McIntyre hit the ring with the Claymore. He said he wants his rematch. And then we had the Miz and John Morrison run to the ring to take advantage of Randy Orton. Miz was about to cash in Money in the Bank, but then Drew stopped Miz from cashing in successfully. And since the bell never rang, Miz still has the contract. Backstage, the Miz said that Drew is jealous and selfish, and he was very upset. Miz and Morrison then challenged Drew to a 2-on-1 handicap match. TJS, who I believe is voting for Biden, said, unsubscribed due to the Instagram comment, this channel sucks, wink face. Who's the biggest Biden supporter? Is it TJS or is it Oofman Rules? I'm ribbing both of those guys, by the way, because they are Donald Trump tried and true. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, has your hair color always been dark? Just noticed. My natural hair color is actually darker than it is right now. Keep in mind, guys, I had the Eminem look about 4 months ago, and I have not cut my hair since, so it still has a little bit of blonde left, but yeah, it would be even darker without the hair dye. Anyways, enough hair dyeing discussion, enough politics. Let's get back to the wrestling. Let me take a sip of water here. By the way, this is the No DQ mug, which you can pick up over at nodq.com/merch. We had Elias versus Jeff Hardy in a guitar on a pole match. Vince Russo was probably loving this match. I could see him at home with his popcorn, just thinking, bro, I'm still a big deal. They're still doing pole matches in 2020. Psycho Jet Black says he misses the lotion. There's a throwback to the old streams from back in the day. Anyways, before the match, Elias did his usual promo, said that he's going to make another kind of art when he smashes the guitar over Jeff's head. It will be the greatest hit he's ever made, possibly. He started to sing an acoustic version of Amen, one of his songs, but of course, he got about 2 lines in before Jeff Hardy interrupted. Hardy tried to climb up the pole. Elias threw a stool at him, and then Elias dominated most of the match. Hardy made a comeback, hit the twist of fate, climbed up, got the guitar, and then jumped off the top and smashed Elias's back with the guitar, pinned Elias, 1, 2, 3. Why could Hardy not get this win at the pay-per-view? And I would have gotten my point in the No DQ Predictions League. So I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed about this. TJS says, have you heard his album? I did listen to it. It's okay. I like Amen. It's all right. But one of the songs just did not do anything for me. It sounded like a total ripoff of another song, and I'm forgetting which song it was at this point, but maybe somebody in the chat room can let me know. It was that Amazing Grace one. And I forgot the other song it was ripping off, but I was just like, meh. Anyways, the match was okay, but did not really care much about it. Psycho Jet Black says the best album from a wrestler is Randy Savage's rap album. And Amanda disagrees. Amanda says Elias's album was awesome. Well, hey, everybody has their own personal tastes. And TJS says House of the Rising Sun. That's the song I was thinking of. We had the tag team titles up for grabs. We had Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax going up against Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Lana decided to come to the ring because why not? These were the 5 women in the Survivor Series match. Shayna was getting distracted by Lana, and there was a point where we almost had new tag team champions. Dana Brooke went for a roll-up on Shayna, but Shayna kicked out, and Brooke got knocked into Lana. Lana was on the apron. She fell off, and then Shayna tapped out Dana Brooke. Still your tag team champs, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. And basically, Nia Jax, after the match, gave Lana the death stare, but we did not have the table spot that we were all probably waiting for. Marquand 1976 with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, here's $2 for listening to Elias's album. Well, I really do appreciate that. It was okay. I mean, it's worth a listen. But let's be real here. It was not the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or Bob Dylan. It was okay. It's okay as a novelty. We had Randy Orton backstage, and he basically forecasted the end of the show, saying that he has an RKO in store for Drew McIntyre. R-Truth came to the ring. He was interviewed about his matchup against Bobby Lashley. He talked about how Lashley is the guy that puts people in Nelson from The Simpsons. Lashley came to the ring with new music, by the way, still as crappy as his old music. If there was one theme for Bobby Lashley that was ever any good, it was that one right before he left. I also liked his original theme, but the songs he's had since returning, they've been terrible. Even the CFO song was bad. Psycho Jet Black says, imagine Ricochet singing an album. Well, I think Ricochet would probably sing better than he cuts promos, as Dr. NXT Scorpio would say. We had R-Truth versus Lashley and R-Truth said, hey, since neither title is on the line, why even bother having a match? R-Truth laid down, and I think we even got Tom Phillips or one of them mentioning Jeff Jarrett, Bash at the Beach. We got a Bash at the Beach 2000 reference on Raw. How crazy is that? And Kev says, why are the themes so bad? Because there's no more Jim Johnston, no more CFOs. And CFOs, I think, were not appreciated enough. For the most part, they did produce some really good themes. And hey, to be fair, even Jim Johnston had a few stinkers. Not all of them were hits. I was not impressed with this new Lashley thing, but there's not too many of these Def Rebel theme songs that have blown me away. Lashley won a quick squash, and then afterwards, Drew Gulak tried to pin R-Truth, but Lashley stopped him. Lashley put the Hurt Lock onto Gulak and then decided to place Gulak's body on top of R-Truth. So, new 24/7 champion Drew Gulak. I do not care. You guys that have been following these recaps for a while, the ship has sailed. I have not cared about the 24/7 title for the better part of a year now. And it's just not going away, unfortunately. Mod W says WCW 2000 references are running wild. Yeah, because it's basically like WCW 2000 as far as the writing goes for these shows. And I agree with Steve-O. We need CFOs back. Jim Johnston, which probably is not going to happen. Neither, unfortunately. But it would be nice. I still say, AEW, what are you doing? How does Jim Johnston not have a job with AEW? Tony Khan, you got to make it happen, man. Backstage, Nia Jax was pissed off. She did not want even Lana's name being said out loud in her presence, and she vowed to end Lana's career in a one-on-one match. So that's all we need is a second match with Nia Jax on this show. What did we ever do to deserve this? We had AJ Styles come to the ring for a promo about Survivor Series. He says he has the it factor to lead Team Raw. Now hold on a minute. Wouldn't Bobby Roode have the it factor to run Team Smackdown? Just saying. Gimmick infringement, AJ. Styles introduced his team, which was Sheamus, Keith Lee. They all came to the ring. Styles wanted to be referred to as Captain AJ. And Sheamus said he's not going to take orders from AJ. And then Braun Strowman came out, said he should be the leader. And Keith Lee responded by saying that Strowman has to qualify. Strowman said he doesn't need to qualify because he's done all these great things during Survivor Series. And also he beat Keith Lee clean a couple weeks ago. Lee was upset about this. Adam Pearce came out, and essentially Keith Lee and Sheamus wanted to fight Strowman. AJ suggested a triple threat match with Strowman possibly qualifying if he won the match. Adam Pearce said okay, and we had a triple threat match. Profound Image with a $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Says, what if every week leading to Survivor Series, Randy gets laid out on the mat, but Drew McIntyre and Miz fail at cashing in? Same effect like Lana through the table. Yeah, you could do that, and would not shock me if it does happen. I mean, we've seen it before with Money in the Bank, where somebody is always trying to cash in and they come up short and it ends up being stopped right before the bell rings. It's happened many times over the years. And Profound Image says, by the way, longtime viewer, first time commenting. Well, thank you for the comment. I do appreciate it very much, Profound Image. Thank you for tuning in. We had the triple threat match, which had a very scary moment early on. You had Keith Lee doing this somersault dive onto Strowman and Sheamus, and the back of his neck basically hit the apron. Fortunately, he was not seriously hurt by this. He pretty much got right back up and shook it off. But yeah, that was a bit scary. Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, what if Miz cashes in on Edge at WrestleMania? Yeah, that could happen. Never say never, but I don't think if he does cash in, I don't think he's going to be successful. I really don't at this point. We had this triple threat match. Strowman speared both guys through the barricade, and then WWE went immediately to a commercial break, which was very un-WWE. Like normally when there's a big spot, they really focus on it, and this kind of just felt like an afterthought. After the commercial break, the action continued. Eventually, after a Tower of Doom spot, Strowman managed to power slam Sheamus, and what a shock here, Sheamus taking the fall. As soon as they announced this triple threat, I'm like, well, Sheamus is going to put over Strowman here. And this whole storyline is dumb anyways, because why do they even need to have a qualifying match? Like AJ even said on commentary, he wants Strowman on the team. Well, if Strowman loses, who are you going to get on the team? You want the best guys possible. Like, this is so dumb. You want the biggest and the baddest guys on your team. Like, what the hell? Just didn't make sense to me, although I guess in a match where there's nothing really for the winner, why should anybody care anyway? So I guess you could look at it from that perspective too. Amanda says the match was good, not the best, but it was good. Yeah, it was good, but nothing to really write home about in my opinion. After the match, AJ Styles got into the ring, tried to get everybody on the same page. Sheamus hugged Strowman, but then gave him the bro kick. And then Keith Lee tackled Sheamus out of the ring. Styles drop kicked Lee out of the ring and then threw a big fit as to why nobody could get along. Okay, I just don't care about the match. There's nothing on the line. I like Survivor Series. It's on my birthday, November 22nd. And I want it to be a great show, but man, I'm not feeling it up to this point. Like, there needs to be something on the line for me to care about these brand versus brand matches. Profound Image with another $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Says, I only say because I've personally never seen a run-in cash-in and the look-back shot on opponent with them actually crashing the cash-in pre-bout. Totally understandable, Profound Image. And maybe we will see something like that happen with The Miz. I do like the teases. I think it's good to do that. But there have been plenty of teases over the years. I know Edge did it quite a bit during his run where he would tease it in and then the ring announcer would say something, but then the bell would never ring. I know for sure Edge, but my memory's a little foggy. I'm sure it happened with other guys. Maybe the chat room can help out Profound Image with that one. We had a promo with Angel Garza, and he handed a rose to the camera. I did not care about this. And yeah, TJS, I do agree with you. This is probably the weakest of the big four at this point, but it's been that way for a while. Drew McIntyre backstage talked about how he's this handsome 6'5" guardian angel for Randy Orton, saving Orton from losing the title. Basically, Drew wants to beat Orton for the title. He doesn't want anybody else doing it, which I guess you can say good for Drew. He's an honorable man, but Jesse Ventura might say the guy has more guts than brains. And we had a Firefly Funhouse segment with Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss, dedicated to the three most devastating letters in sports entertainment, the RKO. Abby was not happy. Abby the witch. Abby started swearing and had to put money in a swear jar. Wyatt talked about how Orton is a bad man. We saw all these clips from when Randy set the house on fire and did the RKO pose. Wyatt then said he never forgets, and that he healed Alexa Bliss, and all of a sudden Alexa turned demented and she started spitting out blood or sticking out a bloody tongue. I'm not sure what the hell it was, but it was pretty creepy. If we had fans, they'd be chanting, "You sick freak, you sick freak." They'd be chanting that at Lars Sullivan. They might swear themselves with that chant and have to put money into the swear jar. The Firefly Funhouse swear jar. And Psycho Jet Black is the Fiend now a tweener? I guess. I'm not even sure at this point. It seems like 1 week he's a heel, 1 week he's a face. Michael Wayne says it was a snake's tongue. All right, then. We had a promo with Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce. Remember when Peyton Royce broke away from Billie Kay to have a singles run, and now she's right back in a tag team? Dumb. They laughed at Lana because, Lana's a babyface now. She's an underdog babyface. We had Lana versus Nia Jax. Shayna got the table ready to go, pulling off all the stuff, all the monitors and so forth. And it was basically a squash. Nia dominated the whole thing. She kept stopping the pinfall. She had the match won. She would pull Lana back up. She did it twice. Kept yelling at Lana to quit, but Lana would not quit. So she put Lana out of her misery with a Samoan drop, called her pathetic. And then, you guessed it, 7th time in 8 weeks, Lana got put through the table by Nia Jax. I mean, did we really need this much TV time dedicated to Nia Jax? Whatever. And I still don't understand how this is getting Lana over. Apparently, Lana's out of the match now. Apparently, she's done. And they're going to have a different 5th person, but I don't even know at this point. We had R-Truth backstage with his hurt neck, and MVP mocked him and said, "We signed your water bottle," because earlier Truth wanted it signed. We had a VIP lounge segment with MVP and company, the Hurt Business, and Bobby Lashley cut a promo on Bobby Lashley, or no, he didn't. Bobby Lashley cut a promo on Sami Zayn. He did not cut a promo on himself. Bobby Lashley talked about how he's one of the best of the best, because that's the buzzword for the pay-per-view. He's going to put Zayn's ass to sleep. Perhaps put him to sleep more than I was put to sleep at this point of Monday Night Raw. Gotta say. The game is on 100 with a $2 super chat. Says, Lana is a joke as a face, put through a table again. Yeah, hard to disagree with you on that one. It's a funny way of putting her over as a babyface by having her get absolutely destroyed every single week. So anyways, MVP said it's time to collect on their payment because MVP took care of Retribution, and now they're going to win the tag team titles. That is their payment. New Day came out and cut this very long promo with the Hurt Business. They went back and forth here. This promo just went on and on and on. Kofi talked about how he won more titles than all of the Hurt Business combined. MVP came back saying Kofi's WWE title run ended in 8 seconds. And then Kofi said, according to Lana, Bobby Lashley only lasted in bed for 8 seconds. And it just kept going on and on and on. And then we had a match which went on and on and on. MVP was on commentary, and he talked about how Shelton Benjamin was the first person to ever beat Kofi Kingston back in 28 or something. Kofi ended up getting a hot tag. He did a balling boom drop to stick it to MVP. Woods tagged in, but then you had the bad guys, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, hit their finishing moves. They worked together. They pinned Xavier Woods to not win the tag team titles because this was a non-title match. So all of this long-ass promo, the VIP lounge, New Day coming out, all this verbal back and forth, this long-ass match. It was like 30 to 40 minutes of this show, and it was not for the titles. Really. What was MVP talking about? They're collecting payment. They're collecting a match to get an opportunity for the tag team titles? Like, what? This was annoying. This was such a waste of time, in my opinion. Like, if you're not going to do a tag team title match, then just get to the damn point, do the match, let it go one segment, and let the heels win, and then set up a tag title match. For real. I mean, the match was technically good, but I was annoyed. Psycho Jet Black with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Psycho Jet Black. Says, the most boring promo is still the Undertaker Big Show Desert promo back around 2000 when Jericho interrupted. I remember that, and I think you've brought that up before during these live streams. You're really obsessed with that promo as far as long-winded promos go. We had Nikki Cross approaching her former bestie Alexa Bliss backstage, and when Alexa's back was to the camera, and when Alexa turned around, she was wearing these evil contact lenses to make herself look scary. I'm still enjoying the Alexa Bliss stuff. It's good. I think it's one of the better parts of Raw, and this week for sure. All right, so get this, guys. The next match we had was Ricochet versus Tucker. And if I just heard about this match being announced after, let's say, Hell in a Cell, I'd be like, ooh, this is not going to be good for Ricochet. Tucker is going to beat him, building up this momentum as a heel. But here's the kicker. No entrance from Tucker. He had this generic prelim ring gear, and I'm like, oh dear. And sure enough, 45 seconds later, Ricochet beats Tucker with the recoil. I've seen people on WWE Superstars back in the 90s and Wrestling Challenge put up bigger fights than Tucker. Wow. Tucker, we wish you well in your future endeavors. I hate to say it. I don't want to see people lose their job, but yeah, would not shock me. Next round of cuts, he's on that list. Poor guy. I mean, he's not even given a chance. You know, you turn him heel and that's it. He's done. He is done. Stick a fork in him, as Gorilla Monsoon might say. Profound Image with a $2 super chat. I appreciate it. Says, read the article that says Miro was proud of Lana working it. I'm sure he's proud of her for sticking out her deal with WWE. And by the way, I just realized that my Twitter handle and Jeff's Twitter handle were on the screen this entire time. I apologize. I usually do this on my phone, but for some reason it wasn't working, so I had to come on here and do it on the iMac, which the positive of this is that I can have the comments up on the screen. We had well, before we get to the main event, I kind of just wanted to skip over this, but I got to bring it up here. After that match, after Ricochet won, Ali and Retribution attacked both guys. I do not care. Poor Ricochet, like he went from getting beat up by the Hurt Business, now he's getting beat up by the team that got beat up by the Hurt Business. Oh, man, it just sucks to be Ricochet. And Tucker got beat up too, but, I mean, after that brutal loss, he was already DOA anyways, so it's basically just like pissing on the grave. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, seriously, why does Vince McMahon hate tag teams? Your guess is as good as mine, but yeah, it's like what tag teams are left right now. Every good tag team has been broken up or somebody has been injured. You know, Jimmy's out of action. You have Ivar out of action. It's just like the tag division in WWE is quite weak right now. They could really use some new tag teams. Bring up some tag teams from NXT. I mean, all the good tag teams at this point are in AEW. That's one area where they got WWE beat, in my opinion. They got a much stronger tag team division. We had our main event segment, which was Drew McIntyre taking on The Miz and John Morrison. And before the match, Drew McIntyre met up with Sheamus backstage. Sheamus pitched Drew McIntyre as being the 5th member of Team Raw, but Drew declined, saying that he has to focus on Randy Orton and the WWE title. Remember this later, because my gut feeling is Sheamus is going to cost Drew the WWE title, and we're going to get a feud between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. That's what I'm thinking at this point. So we had our main event segment, which was Drew McIntyre versus Miz and Morrison, and I'm like thinking to myself, this is going to be really boring if Miz and Morrison win, and then after the match, Orton comes out for the predictable RKO. And that's pretty much what happened here. Drew put up a pretty good fight in the beginning. He did get overwhelmed by the numbers. However, he made his big comeback, did a somersault dive to the outside onto both guys. He got hit with the skull-crushing finale, but he kicked out. And then he hit the Future Shock DDT. And then hit the Claymore to pin Miz. After the match, Orton comes in for the predictable RKO. This one not so much out of nowhere because, I mean, I think anybody with a brain or anybody that's been watching WWE for a couple weeks could see this one coming. And then we had the Fiend laughing at the end, I guess, to keep this triple threat feud going. But I was very underwhelmed by this end of Raw. And this match dragged out too. It just went longer than I felt it needed to go. The game is on 100 with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, Drew made the Miz and Morrison fools for 2 weeks now. Jokes. Yeah, and again, going back to earlier, so this is why I don't think Miz is going to successfully cash in, even though we have seen it in the past where people lose a lot. Mr. Money in the Bank loses a lot before winning the championship. It's happened. But at this stage of the game, like Miz winning the title, I just don't think it would make much of an impact because Miz has been at the bottom of the mid-card now for so long. I mean, not even at the top of the mid-card, more like the bottom of the mid-card, that it would almost be like Jinder Mahal suddenly winning the title. Not quite as bad. Miz is above Jinder Mahal, but, I mean, it's getting to the point where it's not by much. So that was Raw, everybody. I thought it was a pretty boring show this week. If there was ever a Raw that was skippable, it was this one. It wasn't a terrible Raw, but man, did it just feel like a filler show. Like they really did not do much to advance storylines. Maybe check out the segments with Alexa Bliss and The Fiend. As far as matches go, like nothing I thought was really great. Maybe the triple threat, but they're building up a match that has nothing on the line, so why invest your time in it? I'm going with a C-, which I honestly feel is generous. Profound Image with a $2 super chat says, that match made me see that they were just a gimmick. I mean, they've been that way for a while, Miz and Morrison, if that's who you're talking about. I mean, going back to with Braun Strowman, I mean, that was pretty much the moment where Miz and Morrison were just, lower tier guys, barely at the mid-card level. And it's a shame, too, because I think when Morrison returned, Miz and Morrison could have been a pretty big deal. And for a while, Morrison was getting a push but then it kind of just fizzled out around the time they did the handicap match with Strowman. Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, what if The Rock wins the Royal Rumble? I'm going to say highly unlikely in all likelihood. What would happen is I'd get a very nice boost in traffic, but I don't think The Rock's going to be in the Royal Rumble. Just my gut feeling. Michael Wayne gives the show a C-, Bruce with a C, Biblical Adrian with a D+, TJS with a D+, Shady Snake with a D-, Gamers on 100 with a C-, Kev with a D, Ma W with a D, CC Drink with a C-. Profound Image says completely distracted the entire time, D-. And Tyson gives the show a C. Matt Helms also gives it a C. Amanda gives it an F. So there you have it. Monday Night Raw. Nothing too exciting to talk about. But stay tuned to NoDQ.com. We got AEW Full Gear coming up. Should be a fun show coming up. I will be doing live coverage of that. And of course, we got Survivor Series. Even if the build-up is not great, I'll be doing the coverage. It is my birthday, November 22nd. Gotta keep working, not taking a day off. So stay tuned for that. And thank you guys for your continued support. Head over to NoDQ.com. And as a reminder, head over to NoDQ.com/merch to pick up an official NoDQ mug. It's even got the Team NoDQ slogan on the back. NoDQ.com/merch. Take care, everybody. Be safe, stay positive, and especially after this election, you might want to stay home for a few days because it's a crazy world out there. And people tend to do very crazy things when their candidate does not win. And this goes for both sides. So I'm not just saying one side is worse than the other. Both sides have some crazy people. Be careful, everybody, and try not to let the election make or break your week and the future. We'll get through it. We'll all get through it together. We'll all stay positive. Keep focusing on your own life, doing your own thing, doing what makes you happy. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you as always for watching, and have a nice night.